Hey guys, welcome to another replay analysis. And today I'm going to be showing you how I managed to beat a guy who had significantly higher unit levels than me. If you check this way, it's always this way. If you check the two sets of decks that I put next to you, you'll see that he's got some level 14s in there. He's got some pretty high levels otherwise as well, averaging at about 12 to 14, whereas I am about 10 to 11. And I'll show you that whilst unit levels mean a lot, skill does mean a significant amount too, even in this highest league of Tiberium League. I can tell this guy has spent money on the game, but hasn't learnt the core fundamentals to go with that. Goodness gracious, the days where someone spends a lot of money and also knows how to play the game, because they're likely going to be unstoppable. But for the most part, from people that I run into that have very high unit levels, they haven't really got here through pure skill. They are primarily just essentially abusing the game. In a way that they don't really know how to play it properly, but the unit levels are often carrying them versus people who also don't know how to exploit that. So that is what I'm here to talk about. I do know how to play the game, not as well as the top 10, top 20 players on this server. However, I do know how to play the game enough so that I can outplay someone like this. So instead of having a really long intro, which people have complained about, let's get on with it, and I'll talk about specific moments and pause when I have to. So he went Harvester opening like I did. Now listen to the sounds when you start a game. If you hear a double kind of unit sound without any building sounds whatsoever, you can be pretty darn sure this guy's gone double Harvester. Now, I saw him actually build it right in front of my own eyes. That's why I scouted. So this right here, I'll kind of talk through the entire pathing process. I wasn't sure what this guy's deck was, so I have an avatar in my deck. I don't want to charge the missile ASAP, simply because I have no idea whether I'm going versus aggro or versus a double harvester. Now that he's gone double harvester, I would be pretty happy to start charging the missile, knowing that first missile can put a lot of pressure on a mirror matchup in double harvester decks. But the fact that he went, I didn't know, is the reason I pathed around that middle point. I didn't want to start charging it, there was no point. And now I see him go double harvester right in front of my eyes. Now I have two options. I can abuse that, which I don't really have anything in my deck to do that quickly, or I can just go double harvester myself. So you have two options when you see a double harvester. You can try and go aggressive, or you can just go double harvester yourself. And considering I have an avatar in my deck, I was very happy to just say, okay, double harvester. Right here, I'm going to start to try and micro away from his snipers as much as physically possible. I want to get as much damage onto this harvester as I can before his snipers take out my laser squad. So just watch me move 2 tiles away at any given opportunity. I'm just going to be moving my sniper, my missile troopers, laser troopers away from his harvester. And at the end, I realize not really going to get anything done. Just very happy to let my venom do the rest of the work. Now his level 14 jump jet troopers come out. Not really sure what he was planning on doing with them. I think he was looking to go aggressive on my harvester, but unfortunately he was a little bit slow on that. He then responds to my venoms with his pit bulls, although you can notice that he's generally a little bit slow in all of his reactions, and he's also just leaving things like jump jets and snipers in my venom's way. So although he has got really significantly high unit levels, he isn't really got the skill to go with it. I mean, if he was microing his jump jets properly, I would have lost my harvester much more before that. If he was microing his snipers properly, he probably wouldn't have lost them either. So I get these level 14 zone troopers come out. Now we've both been given enough time at this point to essentially get to our late game, and I tell you what, avatars absolutely crush pretty much anything that they're thrown up against. So even though he's pumping out these level 14 zone troopers, I've taken positive Tiberium trades pretty much all game, and my avatar, although it will take a beating from these zone troopers, is good enough to get a double trade because he threw them in one by one. So I get the first missile, and now I'm going to start to pressure his economy. So got the first missile. Somehow we both got tech units out by the first missile. Neither of us was charging that missile, but I felt like my avatars were going to be good enough versus whatever he'd brought to the table. The only thing that I felt would have come unstuck is if he threw 2 sets of zone troopers at my avatar. That probably would have killed it. Or if he'd sent out something like a mammoth tank, which I knew he had in his deck afterwards, but didn't know he had in his deck during this this game, because mammoth versus avatar, you're probably going to see a fairly well, it'll be a fairly even trade, although the mammoth tank costing more probably means that it will take that trade positively for it. But at this point, I'm very happy to leave a Venom at the back of my pads and just start to pressure his economy. And you're going to notice a lot of things that happen on this second missile. This is a very unusual game that we got tech out on the first missile. But I'm going to start to use the avatar that's already on low HP to start pressuring his economy. And again, a little bit slow, wasted a little bit, wasted that... Oh, he didn't waste it. I thought he'd wasted that in the game. For some reason I had this memory that he wasted it. But I'm going to start using my Oxana fanaticism on my avatar. And look what this guy's doing. He's leaving his harvester, despite running a very tech-heavy double harvester deck, on the pad. And then brought out another harvester to go to the Tiberium fields at the top. Well, a very simple trick that you can do to just be a nuisance more than anything is just block Tiberium pads with anything that you've got at the time. I had 2 missile troopers left. It's just going to delay his Tiberium income even more. He's, for some reason, very reluctant to move that harvester off the pad at the top. And I think at this point, he's kind of out of Tiberium. I've been generating huge amounts of Tiberium from being aggressive versus his harvesters, and now that I've got 2 avatars in the field, I just think there's very little this guy's going to be able to do to beat me. And again, this has all come from some pretty solid early game decision making. I could see that he was not the best player in the world, to be honest. In fact, I think most good master players probably could have got a similar outcome here. But I'm just literally throwing avatars at this guy now because he's just given me free Tiberium. I'm going to block the Tiberium tile again just to rub salt in the wounds, but didn't need to because I'd won the game already. And you can see that, honestly, if you're a good player and you're going up against someone who has whaled the game, you don't necessarily have to give up when you see the unit levels. A lot of these players don't know how to play the game properly. And although there were different ways that I could have played that, for instance, I could have charged the missile ASAP, instead of going double harvester, but I felt that going double harvester was better for the position that I was in. And I think given the units that he had, if I hadn't got an avatar out quickly, I probably would have been struggling. Especially as I had an air heavy deck and my Venoms, Banshees and Phantoms would all get crushed by his zone troopers at level 14. So I think I made the right decision to win this particular game. And again, a lot of this is about decision making, about those micro elements of the game, and you can see that he just was not up to scratch for a standard Tiberium League player, even though he had unit levels that were way, way above what most Tiberium League players have access to, excluding Derek, who has got level 15s. But yeah, I think you can see that it is easier to find exploits in an enemy player's games, especially when they have really high unit levels, because they often don't have the same level of dedication and training to get to that point. They often rush through the ranks, skip through a lot of the really important practice tools that we have, and sort of going through Masters is a massive practice tool for a lot of people getting into Tiberium. I had to grind through Masters and learn a lot of really important micro tactics as well as different game strategies. If you rush through all of that by having high unit levels, you often get to Tiberium League, and versus the really good players, even though you have these unit level disadvantages, they will most of the time find a way to beat you. And that's the same case across all of the leagues. And the point that I want to make with this video is that unit levels mean a lot in this game, absolutely mean a lot, versus equal skill players. But when you are climbing in silver, gold, platinum, diamond, even masters to an extent, there are things that you can learn. You are not a perfect player in even in Tiberium League, but you are not a perfect player in gold, platinum, a diamond. So if you go up against someone with higher unit levels than you and they are genuinely a gold player, it doesn't matter what unit levels they are, there is lots of outplay potential just through pure tactics and pure game decisions. And that is something that you need to get in your heads, that it's not impossible to beat higher level unit players, especially as you're climbing the ladder, because they often are just bad. And you can learn things that make you good despite your unit levels. And you can beat people with higher unit levels just by being better at them. Better than them. You will definitely start to struggle the higher and the higher you go up the ladder with unit levels. In Tiberium League especially, when you come against an equal skill player, unit levels mean a lot. But as you're climbing the ladder, they mean much less, because there's so many things that you can learn to make you a better player than your opposition. Oh, that was the end of the video. I was about to just, stop talking there, but I didn't. Right, thanks guys. I will see you soon.